Hey everyone, good day to you, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're watching from. This is Sample Axis, episode 89. Good to be back. The guys are here, Nelson and Louisa. My name is Buiga. Glad to be back. Let's talk music, Nigerian music, African music, and samples. And yeah, we'll get to it quickly today. But what's up with you guys? How have you guys been?
Hmm.
Oh, we've been good, I guess. Let me just speak for myself. I've personally been good. Recently celebrated my birthday, and I also went for some concerts like in Sharon. Amazing performer, amazing singer, amazing guitar player. But life has been good so far. We thank God. So yeah, I've been good. And Nelson, what of you?
Oh yeah, I've been all right as well. It's a whole lot happening, some major changes happening as well for me, like in terms of like life in general, like finally done and now trying to figure out a couple of stuff. So yeah, but yeah, I was out and about too for summer. Yeah, I was with the girlfriend most of the time, so I was moving from here to there, here to there, here to there. But I had the opportunity of like attending a concert too, and it was an awesome experience. I saw Black Star, which is Talib Kweli and Mos Def, now known as Yasin Bey. And honestly, I can't even like put into words how like how amazing it was. At some point I almost basically shed a tear, and I'm being completely honest right now. It
Is it
was an
that deep?
amazing, for somebody that comes from Nigeria, right? And you listen to some certain people, and they just feel like so far away, like almost impossible to ever be in a concert where. And
Oh
I
yeah, I
think
get
what
the
made
intense
me,
part now.
yeah, so I loved the what everything that happened, but what got to me the most was the fact that these guys that I listened to as a young person, and I didn't really get what they were saying. Now they come out and they are older now, and you can genuinely see them having fun. You know,
Cool stuff.
I think that's what got me the most. Like you could tell, like I wish I could throw out all the documentations of what I have, but I'm just too private for that. But basically, I mean, like you see rappers that were dancing, like enjoying themselves, like men that are close to their 50s, and you're like, wow, music is beautiful. They even
Nice.
sing each other's songs and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, so I haven't been to a concert over the last how many months. I'm not really the concerts person, but I would love to be at
Mm,
some. Like Nas. Nas is like a go-to
exactly.
for me. But yeah, I wanted to ask Nels, you saw Black Star and then Burna. Is there any cultural difference?
Yeah.
Is there any major difference?
Oh yeah, yeah, of course, of course. When you look at it, for example, you see, I've seen Burner before. That's why I didn't even talk about Burner again. But Burner always brings it 100% anytime I've seen him. I saw him in 2019, after the year move. I saw him and it was a bank festival. So he was the last person to perform, being like the hottest artist at the time. And that just makes me think, man, Burner has been doing this thing on a hard punch for 6 years. If not for anything, I think that should certify him as a legend, to be honest. But just that aside, I've seen it before. That's why I didn't talk about it. But the cultural difference is indeed there. You know, Burna is still hot in the scene right now. When I mean hot, he was the lead performer for that particular day in the festival. And everywhere was turned up, like filled with a lot of people. And I heard that, like, the total attendance was almost 70,000 people in general. But I'm sure for Burna's show, it might have been over 20K for sure, you know. So, and that's like solid that people would come through. At some point, I even heard that people were talking about the festival like it was Burna's festival. These are from locals. They're like, "Are you going to Burna's festival?" Even though it's a festival in itself, but like they only really cared about seeing Burna's set, and that just shows how much of a cultural shift we have. Because I don't think any and this is me being completely honest, I don't think any artist would have thought like 7 or 8 years ago that, oh, like you would go to a place like Finland and it would be like a total shutdown, that people would be yearning to see a Nigerian artist. Like people, I saw people wear shirts that had Burna Boy imprinted on it just for him to see that, yeah, I'm a true Burna fan.
Yeah.
But also we saw in like the hip hop, which is Black Star, there was a uniqueness there. It was a smaller arena, right, in the festival. But my bro, every single person there was there because they love hip hop. Whether you're black, you're white, you're orange, whatever it is. I mean, I saw somebody holding up a Black Stars vinyl record from 1999, like held it up high. I was like, that kind of thing you're doing. So I was still like, get these guys to notice you so they could sign. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, I'm in Helsinki for damn sake. I'm in Helsinki and I'm seeing somebody holding up, Black Star. Amazing stuff. And to be honest, it was a great experience. Of course, there's a difference in the culture because hip hop is completely different from Afrobeats. Hip hop, everybody was just bopping their head like this, and saying the words where and then you pause and let them do it, and let them do their thing. But like for Burna Boy, you just wanted to sing along with him
Hmm.
every single step of the way, even if you don't know what he's saying. I heard a lot of people mouthing "baby travaye" very wrongly, but they didn't care.
Yeah, right.
They didn't know what he was saying, but they just kept on. But it was quite cool. It was an awesome experience, to be honest.
Solid stuff. Yeah, let's just get into Afrobeats updates, like what's been happening. I think while we were, off, not recording, from my end, Chin, I don't know if you guys know Chin is a Nigerian rapper. He's
Yeah, love Chin, love
arguably,
Chin, love
arguably,
Chin, love Chin so much.
Nigeria's flyest rapper for his generation, and they call it luxury rap, and he really does that right. He released Subliminal, Irasta released Hot Body, Burna's album dropped within the time period. Who else dropped? I keep forgetting. But you guys can tell me what you've been listening to. Chin is my guy. Yeah. Okay. I talked about Odeno say. Yeah, but let's just pick it from anywhere, and then we can come back to others. Who wants to pick up on what's new music in Afrobeats they've been up to?
So I have been listening to songs like Folashade by Ladipo, which I genuinely love the song. It's like a, do I say love song? He's just trying to profess his love to Folashade, but the song, the writing technique, everything about the song is just perfect from the beat and everything. It's a very nice song. I think there's also another song that was released, I think yesterday by Johnny Drill and Tiwa Savage. It's called Over the Moon. A couple of other songs also came out. I think there was that remix with Tiwa Savage of that popping song that's called Escaladizi or something. Sorry,
Yeah,
no, it was Savage. It was a remix with Ira Stars, Latan,
Charlie
Shali
Poppy.
Poppy, I believe. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes. And also Shali Poppy is dropping songs as well, left, right, and center. I think he's gonna have a new one coming up soon called Nasu, but I don't know. That's just speculation. So
yeah.
yeah, but it's been a
Kelebu. Have you listened to Kelebu?
interesting. Oh, yes. I have my own opinions on that song. Not the biggest fan, but yeah, it's a form of art, I guess. But yes, who hasn't listened to Kelebu is the question.
Yeah, your word on Burna's album before we pass it to Nelson.
So for Brenna's album, so far I am not really sold based on what I've heard. I mean, I do love a couple of songs like I keep forgetting the name, but it kind of gives me like a reggae vibe. It has love in the title. And there's the other one that is Update. These two, I right from the onset, I liked the songs. The other songs, however, I'm taking a bit of time to get familiar with them, maybe with like 3 months, because that's usually how I am with albums. I might not like it initially, but maybe in like 3 4 months, if I hear it again, I have a refreshed mind about the album. But for now, it's just not what I was expecting, based on the very bold title. I was expecting something more loud than what we were given, but it's just a mix of different genres. So maybe that's just his way of showing that he's not weak, in the sense that he can just do anything he puts his mind to and just dive into different genres. But as for now, it's not really my cup of tea, but we'll see. What my opinion in the next 3 4 months, it might change. You can ask me then.
Yeah, yeah. Nels. Is Empty Chairs
Yeah.
the best song on the album?
Oh, I forgot about Empty
You
Chairs. Yes,
know,
I also
eh,
love Empty Chairs.
Yeah, Empty Chairs just really nice, really nice song. For me, I actually wanted him to perform Empty Chairs when he came around, to perform. I was expecting that he was going to do that at some point, but he didn't. So I was a little bit pained, but it's all good. He didn't perform Empty Chairs at all, but I think the album itself, it's kind of like a little bit sad that it's not as great as we envision it to be. But then this kind of state, I would like to first say that the album itself was decent. That's the word you just used, decent. It's not an album that was poor, because you cannot say, even if it was a random artist, you still say, oh yeah, this person did put in a good body of work. But for somebody of Burna's like level of the pedestal that we put Burna Boy in terms of the music industry, he's the African giant, as he calls himself. It didn't live up to the name on this one. And like you said, there's no sign of weakness. It kind of felt like it was going to be an album that would be so solid that people would say, "Wow, this guy really meant it when he said no signs of weakness." So now they would be looking at it and saying maybe there is indeed a sign of weakness, no pun intended. But it's still all good. I feel like the numbers are going up, which is one thing that you kind of like get with Burna's album. No matter how although he hasn't dropped an album that you would refer to as maybe not so great lately, but he always has this thing where he knows how to push different songs at different times and kind of makes people grow into the sound a little bit, because looking at the numbers every single day, they are increasing online, and you can see that people are actually listening. For example, Love, I did not expect Love to take on a life of its own, to be honest. I was not expecting Love to have any sort of push. I knew it was a very good song when I heard it, but I didn't expect it to be a song that people would stick to and now listen to on a regular basis, because I've heard the song almost everywhere now. I think the fact that the way he sang the song maybe resonates with a lot of people. That's why people are actually jumping on it. Them Day, that I thought would be very, very nice, ended up being just okay too for a few listens. Ta 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 still seems to be like the powerful one for the album so far, because of course the a song with Travis Scott would surely go far, because he has his own fan base as well. A decent amount of songs, because I mean you also look at it as well. 16 songs, 47 minutes. It shows that like maybe it's really not his best work, because usually you would expect that Burna's album would be more than 50 minutes at least, and you will enjoy it for the whole hour. But now we have a lot of songs that are forgettable. For example, a song like Kabiesi, I'm not even sure people know that that song is a part of the album. To be honest, I'm not even sure people know Kabiesi is a part of the album. Come Give Me. I don't know. I don't even know anything about Come Give Me, and I've listened to the album like twice. I don't know the song that is Come Give Me, which is
So
fine.
Nels,
But also,
yeah.
what I wanted to state is that, because I was thinking about it recently, and I also heard a couple of people, you know, talk about music lately, because we were talking about like Afrobeats and everything. I'm like, well, you need to understand that it's quite difficult for an artist to have a very strong run for such a long time, right? Like a strong run. And I would emphasize more on that today when we get into the sample, which we get into my own sample section, which I'm going to talk about Burna again, and then we talk about the other artist that was sampled. But then I'm just going to say this quickly. Outside 2018, African Giant 2019, Twice as Tall 2020, Love Damini 2022, I Told Them 2023. That is 5 albums in the space of what? 5 years. So 2018 to 2023, right? We have 5 albums in a
Yeah.
space of 5, 6 years, thereabout. It's difficult. These 5 albums, none of them are mid. They are
Hmm.
at least over 7.5 out of 10.
Well curated.
I think outside, for example, I know Brenna might hate to hear this, but that was his penultimate peak. If I'm being completely honest, penultimate peak, because outside is like the full fledged Burna Boy, like Burna Boy that we love. Burna Boy was crazy on the album. He had Heaven Gates that was mad. Had Yay. It was a great album. and then you come with African Giant, which is my personal best. I think African Giant is the best album that has been created by any artist in the Afrobeat space. In the past in the past 5.5 years. And the only reason, maybe let's say, okay, because it's 6 years now, because we're in 2025, right? So in the past 7 to 8 years, and the only two albums I would put beside that album, all due respect to every other person, would be A Good Time, Davido, and Wizkid Made in Lagos. Every other album, those three albums are the albums I can say, for me, Nelson's take is that those albums are solid. They're albums that we can go back in time and say, you want to hear what Afrobeats was like, and when we had the champions of Afrobeats doing the sound, you go back to African Giant / Outside. But for me, African Giant, you go back to A Good Time by Davido, and then you go to Made in Lagos by Wizkid. I don't want to say it's their peak, but I think that happens. So if you do 5 stretch of albums and you have been able to keep up like 7.7, 7.5, 7.10, sometimes you would get that downtrend too. It's possible. Yeah.
Yeah,
There you go.
right. I mean, like you said, nobody is perfect. 50 years, 20 years in a row. At some point,
Mhm.
maybe you plateau or you drop down a bit
Yeah.
and then come back up.
Yeah.
And again, as
Exactly.
long as it's still on tour and counting money, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Nobody stays up there
He's doing good.
for long, or for too long. New Rema, new Ashake, new Magics. Which one are you gonna quickly speak on? 2 minutes or less.
Oh, okay. I don't know whether you guys want to speak on Rema, but like, okay, Ashake let me start with Rema. Rema is a very interesting artist, to say the less. He's a kind of person that wants to push, the norm and get everyone to the edge. You don't know the kind of Rema you're getting. You don't know whether when Rema says I want to release a song, you don't know whether you're getting Rewind Rema. You don't know whether you're getting Is It a Crime Rema. You don't know whether you're getting Kelebu Rema, or you don't know whether you're getting Ozeba Rema, right? And I think it works. It works nicely for him because he's trying to show himself and say, I have range. I'm an artist and I can do whatever it is that I feel like. And he's one of those people that is actually doing that, because it's very difficult to explain to somebody that the same guy that did Is It a Crime is the same guy that did Kelebu. It's very hard to explain to anybody. You're like, what exactly am I listening to? But he's just showing his range. And I'm not a big fan of Kelebu. I'm one of those people that I stand on my feet 100% when I speak about She Is. I'm not a big fan of the album. I'm not a big fan. I've heard some Rema songs that, for example, Rema's song "Wine" with Yesult. I know I've spoken about it a lot. I think that song, even though it was just messing around and they were just enjoying themselves. That song is a song that you have to put in an archive and say, yeah, that's one of the really, really great songs. I know that everybody likes "Calm Down" from that album, but that song was awesome. So, but then you look at it and say, can you really hold an artist down? No, he's going to do whatever it is that he wants to do. But am I feeling his new single? No. Or did I feel the album She Is? I'm sorry, you guys can say it's a redefinition of the sound, whatever it is, man. Big shout out to all of you. But no, I wasn't feeling it. And it's fine too. Still love the
Still,
guy.
still on that subject, right? So I will say something. I think there's a popularity tax that you know, popular artists, made artists can afford to, or they enjoy, so they can afford to test. But small
Yeah.
artists don't even get the audience anyway. And whether or not the song is bad, the first day or 10 days, first 10 days of listening brings something. So yeah, popularity tax. But speaking of changing the sound, there's an allegation from Omale and his team or friends saying, this sound change idea originally came from him. Anybody want to speak briefly on that? And then we get to Ashake and Magics.
I mean, like, I want to hear what Louisa has to say. I do have something to say about it too, but let me hear what Louisa has to say.
Yeah, let's keep it short.
Actually, I haven't really watched like or seen Asake's I said Osake Omale's exact tweet or where Omale said it exactly, because I've just been like seeing people that are saying that Omale said this and that. And there's also like a video I saw where Rema was sitting in a car and he was saying that, someone said he saw the sound, but he had the idea first. So I'm not really sure what exactly transpired and if Omale actually said something or if Rema came out and said that Omale is saying this and that. But if it's the case whereby Rema maybe had an idea and he released a song and then Omale saying that I wanted to do something like that, but maybe I didn't act quick enough. If that is the case, then I think that there sometimes in life where you get this brilliant idea, and if you don't act on it fast enough, someone else is going to get it and do it before you. So if that was the case, then I feel like um it happened, it happened. Omale should go back to the drawing board and get something else or try to come up with something that will be maybe even better or find a different sound that would not really be associated with this scalable sound or something. But yeah, if Rema saw the sound, then yeah, that's terrible from his side. But if it was just like maybe a case of his idea and then Rema executed it first and they both had the same idea at the same time, but Rema executed it first, then yeah, it happens, it happens. But if someone can explain to me the situation, then I can be up to speed.
Oh yeah. The reason why I didn't want to talk about this before, but I feel like because it's something that is actually popping around now, we have to address it one way or the other. Being that we're like music enthusiasts, at least let's give our take on that particular situation. I don't really, to me, and this is all due respect to the parties involved. The conversation right now holds no water. To me, I don't think. I don't think there's like a lot of conversation in there or like a lot to actually dig around in there. We still don't know this sound because you cannot tell me that, oh yeah, like you had a sound idea and somebody then stole it and then you had to rework your album. You understand? I know that's a lot of work and that's a lot of anger in there. And you will say, okay, but what exactly kind of sound? We still don't know. So I'm one of those people that I don't like to do all these allegations here and there. Sometimes it gets really confusing. Are you telling me he was trying to create like he is our he is kind of album?
Yes, I think that's the situation. So there's this text message flying around where I think Omar, I'm not sure now, one person said we need to up the tempo, we need to move the tempo up. And don't forget there was this conversation about other tribes, other people around the world being able to produce Afrobeats easily. There's this conversation about the fact that we got slowed down. People talked about K Solo in 2008, Timaya in those days. Their sound was fast, it was jivey. We had a definition some type, but then we had to slow down with the 2016 pom pom sound, and more we slowed down, we relaxed, infused more R&B, became a global sound with made in Lagos, and then we continued to slow and slow and slow down. So there was like, let somebody come up, and then there was the Amapiano conversation as well that Nigerians don't have their sound. They picked from Amapiano, and then everything is is too. So there was this talk about something has to change. And you've seen Rema talk about, I had to step in, I had to be the RMO of Afrobeats type stuff. So yeah, I think that's the
Yeah.
thesis.
Oh yeah, but like if that's a I don't think people should, stick around and talk about that too much, to be honest. What is done. And I know it's going to cause a lot of anger, but if the main talk here is just increasing the tempo, if it's not like he basically just snatch grabbed like an entire concept idea, I don't think it's something that should cause like an uproar. If you understand that, like I said, all due respect to all the parties, I know that it's going to hurt a lot for somebody to take credit in quote for what you have like thought of. But like if it is just up the tempo that is the main point here, I really don't think people should continue to stress themselves in that conversation because Omale can release an up-tempo song as well, and nobody's going to think that, oh, you stole that idea from Rema or whatever. And it's okay, if you do a work that is way better, if you put in a body of work that is way better than him, you would get the accolades and every single thing that comes with it. So the fact that you're having a conversation about up tempo, I was like, what is this exactly? Because honestly, again, he is sound is not something that will be replicated, or it did not cause. I'm sorry to say, but I don't think it has caused a shift. It was after he is that we have the Victonis come around. The Victonis did not pick up, I mean, Victonia has been around for a while, but Victonis did not decide to change the direction of his album. Fola that we have right now, Sho Lee that we have right now, those guys are
So
not doing the guys that we have come almost after the he is
yeah,
movement. All these guys have been making music, but none of them have had to change. What
culture
Sheyi
hasn't
Vibes
shifted.
did, yeah, what Sheyi Vibes did with Afro Adura, where people now, everybody's now vibe something, that's a change. That's a huge change. So this is the kind of stuff that you would also say, sorry, let me just quickly round this point up. This is the kind of stuff that you also say, Rema, you did your thing. Like you made a point. You caused a 7.0 magnitude earthquake, but the earthquake did not bring down houses. It did not mean people would now build their houses different or build their houses to accommodate your sound. No. So if Omale is still angry about it, I was saying like this. Omale, I don't want to use the word effing good, you know. With you with Davido is probably one of the biggest songs in Nigeria right now. And man, just take it as one of those things that just move on. Unless I don't think we should have this kind of conversation, to be honest.
Right. So there are two things I quickly want to say. Again, when we get to Afrobeats updates, it always gets too long. So culture did not shift, but I think that earthquake moved some things. You had to. We saw some faster tracks in the last 1 year. I'm sure Louisa would have noticed. There was this fast pace of music after or just around. He is right. He is. Shay Vibes did
Mhm.
an EP. People, I'm not sure, but there was one song that was really fast on Shay Vibes EP. So I think we can say that there was a kind of shift, but culture really hasn't shifted, especially with Fola. Fola is the slow type, so and is the
Mm,
revelation of the year. That's that. There's
mm.
also the concept of aura farming. This conversation, aura and steez or whatever farming, it might just be a thing of, a lot of Afrobeat artists, try to rebrand, and then you see these photo ops pictures. So this conversation could really be about, I had to tell you guys that I was onto something, I had to change it. That entire narrative could be some kind of aura farming. Louisa.
I I just wanted to say, speaking of Fola, he actually has a song with Wizkid, and is the way he's moving is quite impressive because I think recently, or more recently, we started hearing about him more, and all of a sudden he has a collaboration with Wizkid. I mean, he has been here for like some years because I went through his Apple Music and saw like he has been releasing music. And I actually watched an interview with what's his name? Bella Shmurda. And Bella Shmurda was just talking about how they used to go to studio together and everything, and then he just decided to sign him to compliment him because he feels like he himself, which is Bella Shmurda, is more of a street artist, and Fola has more of a beautiful laid back vocals, so he can do what Bella Shmurda cannot do, and that's why he signed them. And since then, since the signing, they've just been, collabing and releasing some nice songs. He also has another song called You. And I just think that I agree with you that the slow tempo thing is working for him, that despite the thing that Rema is doing and other artists are, upping the tempo, it's still okay to have your own thing and to be your own person and not just try to copy and follow what others are doing. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say about Fola.
Nelson, take it away and talk about Ashake so we can wrap up Afrobeat section.
Oh yeah, all right. Just before I move on to Ashoke quickly, I'm just gonna wrap up with what you have said about Fola. I think Fola is a breath of fresh air. Also, I like the Show Day guy as well, doing great stuff too. They are putting themselves out there. I just want to give a big shout out to Bella Shmurda. I think this might be a start of something really good for him. I don't think I've seen a recent artist in recent time as early as 2020 been able to like push an artist that they have signed this much. I don't think there's any artist in the past, maybe even it might even might be up to 10 years if I'm being completely honest. Because we have to remember that the turning point for Belashmada was 5 years ago and he has been around in the industry. He has made himself important in the industry. He has done all kinds of sound. He still goes out for shows, and now he's already birthed like a new sound with somebody that he's familiar with, and that's like a something that you have to say big ups to him for. I really hope, because I heard him one time, I think it was the Corty interview that he had maybe a year or 2 years ago. I think he has that thing in him. He knows how to like see people that have something, and he's the kind of person that feels like he's like a very open-minded person. So he's a kind of a Olamide-esque, human, where I can see that these guys are good and I can just help them. So that might be something that we might be seeing. We might see, I'm saying it here first on Sample Axis, we might see the beginning of like a powerhouse with Dangana Republic. They might be able to pull off something. Maybe after for that, we see a couple of more artists that would come out from Belashmada's teachings or helping. But now, Ashake, Batman Gangster, you know what? Ashake is always going to be that guy. That's what I can tell you. Ashake still drops songs and he still the enter. You get me? Batman Gangster is a jam, a serious jam. I really hope they get to push it more and more and more and more and more, because and I like the fact that Ashake still sticks to his roots, even though he has changed the sound a little bit, but he's still there. And a big shout out to Tiakola as well. Awesome combination right there. They did great stuff. I don't want to talk too much on the music because I feel like Ashake just gave us what he usually gives us, and with a little bit of a new twist. And I'm really hoping to see like the album soon, so I can get a feel of what exactly is like. Still the guy with the trifecta. I think he's still the hottest guy in the past few years with the trifecta. Great stuff from him. I really hope it continues. Now for Magics, please, Nigerian consumers, listen to good music. This Magic's guy, he dey try. Please, he dey try. Why are we doing like this? He dey try. And let's give our ears to people that actually go into the studio, work on their music, and do good stuff. I remember his sound with Wita and Soma, like everybody was there bashing him, throwing banters because of what the visualizer looked like. It's like, what's this guy doing? Like, what's this? We don't like this kind of sound, but he releases great stuff. And his writers are quite nice, I could tell, because like he knows how to play around with words, and he has an amazing voice too. Kisses 2 that was done by Ajabo Hustlers that he featured on, I still think is one of the best features that we've had in a while from that kind of sound. He was there, he merged quite nicely, and he killed it. So I mean, like, I feel like people need to, listen more to Magic. He's doing really good. Doing really a good job, and I'm really proud of him right now, because I know he has struggled a little bit with, having that gap and not being in the media's eye for a while. But he's coming back up now. I really hope like his song picks up as well. Great stuff from him. Go listen to Magic's. And also, I don't know the name of the song exactly, but Victoria has Terry G on a sample that was wild. I liked it. I just don't know. So yesterday was the first time, to be honest, that I was coming across the song. I saw the video and I was shocked. And I'm like, wow, Terry G does look good. It still looks good for somebody that used to look absolutely crazy. And also, I'm sorry, guys, that I'm dragging this a little bit, but I don't know why nobody's talking about the fact that Jump and Pass that is popping right now on TikTok that I can see. I beg, who did this piece for me? Dude, did you guys know that like Terry G did like a sample ripoff of that
Oh wow,
many years
I
ago?
never knew that. We'll
That's
line
one
that
of
up for
God.
future
I just
episodes.
realized that you people are not very, very street-oriented people. The song's name is literally Jump and Pass. I really wish we could play music right now. Basically the same idea, but Terry G did his madness. Oh my God, you guys need to listen. I really wish you could play music right now and play
You
that
know,
old Jump and Pass and play Terry G's Jump and Pass. I'm like, how are people not even putting this on the same scale, because it has the same vibe, But yeah, I just want to talk about the fact that people like that are still
yeah,
around and they are still making music. So basically, it's all good.
solid stuff. I saw that music video, and I've been looking out to see someone interview this man. Any of the TikTok guys can just find him and talk to him. It would be really nice to hear him. But watching that made me just realize there's a way the Nigerian Christianity community or Christian community received the message and interpreted it. They embedded culture, which would be normal, but I think we did it in a very nice way, in a very sophisticated way. You need to look at these Yoruba songs, this Igbo songs or pidgin songs like this one. Look at the jump and passes. That's a cultural Igbo move, and then it turned into
Yeah,
an entire gospel song, and it was like 20 years ago. He's back on TikTok trend. It's really amazing.
yeah.
I like it, and I want to hear him, say something about those days. Enough time. I wanted to talk about Ashake quickly. Ashake is moving really, really heavy. Like I like it. I like it when you are ambitious and you carry yourself like that, and it just shows that he's not slowing down. I hope the album doesn't flop. Money is coming. I can't wait. I just like the whole aesthetic, the whole aura farming. Look at Cheche remix. Look at the video. Ashake's
Yeah.
um, collab run has been crazy with
Even the one,
Burna.
even 99, for example, the video of 99, you when it got to his part on the video, you're like, okay, Ashake is
Like
different.
there's an
I feel
entire
so
branding,
amazing.
there's an
Yeah,
entire branding around him that looks so good. I hope it doesn't stop, and I hope it gets more shows because he's a super performer too. I was looking at his
yeah,
wireless set from 2 years ago, and I'm like, this is superstar stuff. This is like,
yeah.
yes,
To think his first few performances, people called him out, and he went back and he worked on it, and then now he's one of
yo,
those great performers now.
the energy is good and we want to see more. I hope money drops maybe September, but ASAP. I need it sharp sharp. Let's get to samples for today, man. That was a lot of talk on Afrobeats. Nelson, you're starting first, so we minimize time this time. Michael Jackson being sampled by Burna Boy in 2020 on the album Twice as Tall Monsters You Made. What's up with that?
Yeah, Twice As Tall, the album that finally got Burna Boy the Grammy. He has wanted all this while, and he had been pushing for a while, and almost did get. I still feel that he should have gotten it for African Giants. That would have been way more cooler, but it's okay. He got the album. He got the album of the year for international. I think international Africa. I can't remember exactly what it is, but the Grammy. Basically, oh yeah, international album of the year, which is the Twice as Tall album, solid album. And in the album, we had a song that was done alongside Chris Martin. Chris Martin right here had the song with uh s- I don't think that song took the fire that people expected it to take. If I've been completely honest, it's such a good song, but I feel like it didn't get a lot of look. If you get what I'm talking about, I feel like having Chris Martin on the record is huge. I don't think a lot of people would ever think that, like, on a Burner album, she would have someone like Chris Martin. And I'm sure a lot of people, I remember before the album, prior to the album, a lot of people were saying, what's Chris Martin going to do on this album? Like, how exactly is he going to gel into this album? And then they gave us something that was quite solid. And when you think about the song Monsters You Made, is actually a wonderful jam that I think that, a lot of people should also go back to a couple of times and say, yeah, this one is, one of those solid albums that you cannot even like say, nah, this song is not good. This is a song that is definitely at least an 8.5 out of 10 in terms of how it was put together. And nicely, just as we know, Burna likes to sample. The song sampled Dirty Diana from Michael Jackson's Bad album. I just want to quickly bring up the song credits right here. It was produced by Lyric, which was amazing because I don't think that's not a very African sound. If we're being like if we're being like being very African in terms of like the music and everything, it was very, I would say, hip hop and new pop sound. Agbega, please go on.
Yeah, I love the production, and I just wanted to speak on it quickly before you go on because it's the alternative. It's like you don't always get this on Afrobeats album or in Afrobeats, in the genre. So when you get something like this being embedded in an Afrobeats album, is really nice, and it's heavy. It's banging. It's almost like reggae, raga, linking hip hop. That spectrum, and then I would recall Black Bones featuring Black Sheriff on Roadrunners. Listen to that, and you find the same energy. It's banging hard and it's heavy hip hop influenced.
Yeah, heavy hip hop influence. Like I said, I feel like the sound. This is like lyric in his hip hop bag and hip hop. And I say a little bit of pop because I mean you cannot do something with Coldplay, Coldplay's lead, and not expect it to have like a little bit of pop in there, right? And the song being sampled here is such a very interesting choice, and it just shows the depth of a Burna Boy in terms of how he listens to his stuff and how he gets in tune with the music, and you because like I saw I'm sorry, I'm going to take a quick digress right now and talk about something quickly. I had seen the video of Olamide and Kotti, and he was saying a couple of things, and you could tell when he was talking about not being boxed as a musician, you could tell how much he loves his craft because he was saying something about like I listen to this, I do everything, like that's what I live and breathe, and that's one person that I can say for sure alongside Burna Boy. These guys sometimes will give you the most interesting references. I mean, Dirty Diana itself, I think I've spoken about it before. That's my mom's best music from Michael Jackson. She loves the song so much because I don't know why. It was produced by Quincy Jones, which was quite interesting. Jerry Hay, alongside Michael Jackson, wrote that one. But there's something about, so basically that same vibe and energy, from Dirty Diana was what we got on Monsters You Made. And Monsters You Made, the writing of Monsters You Made is amazing. I think that's probably one of the songs where Burna had like, his writing bag like on this, like rent was due, like I'm about to get angry, and that's why I'm a little bit sad. That's why I was holding back because I was earlier when I started talking, I was checking the numbers just to confirm the numbers again, and I'm seeing just 17 million. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Why does this song have 17 million? And some other songs would have like 61 million. And sometimes we as listeners, we just listen to a good song, we like it, and we reference it, but we never go back to listening to the song. So this kind of song should actually, get a lot of grace. I think in terms of the sampling, go ahead, go on quickly before I
Sorry
continue.
again to cut in. So music replay value. Some of the
Yeah,
things that make you go back to a song are some of the mundane feeling stuff. So there's a song by Burna, Primi. What's up? You all right? That song
so that's
is
that's
the
that's
is
that's
perhaps
pull up. That's pull up.
one of two songs that would make me just maybe walking on the road. I will just remember, and then I will get home premium because I want to, there's something that it gives
Yeah,
you in the moment. So music listeners really do not, if you're not attached to the sound a certain way, and radio or events don't bring back the memory, songs can be good and they can be lost in time, like sleeper jams, and they just get, they're forgotten. There are many jams like that. But if a song has a strikes you with a certain feeling, you're more likely to. And if it occurs on your timeline, maybe through shorts, or you see the concert performed somewhere, or it reminds you of someone, then you want to go back and listen again.
yeah. So like, there's this vibe and energy that you feel from the song that just makes you go back to it whenever you share the song. And I remember there was a lot of talk. That's one of the things that I want to talk about. There was a lot of talk when the song came out that people were not really understanding the effect of the song. And I think I don't know what to owe that to, because sometimes I think we don't consume music like we should. I don't know whether it is one right way to consume music, but I feel like sometimes we get too engulfed in probably the sound and then completely forget about the lyrics. It's like I was explaining to somebody when I was at the concert and I was talking about Burna Boy. I'm like, I feel like a lot of people do not know that Burna did a lot of writing on Ye. Like people usually they usually forget that there's like a lyrics in Ye. You get what I'm saying? And I don't know whether it's because of Ye itself, the Ye. Like people forget that there was the different schemes and packaging, the things that have schemes and packaging, online for show, stuff like that. Like people forget all these words, but they remember the yeah. So I think
Wait,
sometimes you just need to walk around and pick something that works, and then hopefully people will listen to it and enjoy the jam later on. Yeah, go on,
sorry
Lisa.
to interrupt quickly, but what you said reminds me of what Outcast said. You guys don't want to hear what I'm saying. You just want to dance. Like in the
Exactly.
way,
On Hey Yeah. Yeah, that's a jam too. And the thing is, Outcast. Thank you very much for referencing Outcast. Those guys do that a lot. Like, Andre 3000 and Big Boy. And I know Boy Guy has a lot to say about Andre 3000. That's one reason why Andre 3000 is like, I don't think he doesn't think he's ready to like make music anymore. And I think Boy Guy and I had a conversation about it that time. We're talking about the fact that like, the music or sometimes people forget about the moment the beat and the sound is great, everybody forgets about anything else. Or you have like a great hook or a great bridge. I saw a podcast recently. I know I'm quickly digressing. I would give the sample result now. I saw a podcast recently that had Bobby Brown in it. And I can't remember this other guy right now. I get, but it's one of those popular guys. I just can't remember his name right now. It's not Raphael Sadiq. It might be Raphael Sadiq, but I don't think it's Raphael Sadiq. One of the young old OGs that still looks very young. And then they were talking about the importance of a bridge in music, right? They said a couple of songs that people forget entirely about the whole song, but remember the bridge. And they are forgetting that this person probably the guys we're talking about. Do you know, like because some of them they are all musicians, right? And then they were talking about, do you know how much I poured my heart into the lyrics of this song? And then nobody remembers what I said. They just sing the bridge whenever they sing the bridge because they like the bridge, but put my heart into the song. Yeah, go.
Allow me to digress again. I'm so sorry. You get it together after this one. Who knows my best line on Sweetest Taboo? Who can guess my best line on Sweetest Taboo by Sade?
Oh, that's a good one though.
So I'll tell you.
Mm.
Every day is Christmas, and every
Oh,
night is New Year's Eve.
that is New Year's Eve.
That's the one line that
Every
stuck.
day
So
is
it's different for
Christmas.
everybody. But yeah, you get
Yeah,
one line that really sticks to you for whatever reason.
yeah. True. So yeah, I think it was a great sample. At first I didn't even, apart from the fact that I could hear Dirty Diana from the way Burna was, singing, I didn't pick it up early, if I'm being honest. I had to like listen to it and I'm like, wait, but I do know this song from somewhere. So I like this kind of samples. It's like it doesn't feel like a sample anymore. It feels like a merged sound. Like you use it feels like the sample itself served as a bed for inspiration, right? Like this was like the starting point and I just blew it up. And I like this kind of samples where it's not too harsh, that it's not like the sample itself is carrying the song, but the song itself is making the sample look more beautiful. So I would say for sure that like this was a solid sample. I don't want us to spend too much time on here, but we can still come back, maybe talk about it. I know we still have two more samples to talk about. But then again, just to remind you guys listening as well as watching, Dirty Diana was off the Bad album in 1987. Aha! Yeah, it's good I did this. I already remember exactly what I wanted to say now. I was about to forget it. And then Twice as Tall was the album in which Monsters You Made featuring Chris Martin of Coldplay, Burna Boy's album that won the Grammy in 2020. Now, there's this thing about artists taking out their time to release album. Wait, guy, when they say who was the greatest artist of the 1980s, who is the name that comes up all the time?
Globally, America, Nigeria,
I mean, globally, like when you say 1980s, who is the name that comes up all the time?
definitely Michael Jackson,
Exactly.
greatest.
Louisa, you agree, right? How
Yeah.
many albums did Michael Jackson have in the like whole of the 1980s?
I mean, we wouldn't know that you are the OG here.
He had just two in
Oh
a
wow.
decade. 1982, Thriller, 66 million copies sold. And then in 1987, um he released the album Bad, right? When you think about that, and then he gets to hold on to the whole 80s in a chokehold. You wonder what exactly was this guy doing, right? Because he didn't release Dangerous till 1991. So basically, the King of Pop had his first major album apart from the group Jackson 5 in 1979, Off the Wall. I'm going somewhere with this, stick with me. 3 years later, she released Thriller. Now, if you remember, or I probably have said it before, in those years, it was normal for you to release an album and then release a single off that album. because you don't want people to get consumed by the album. Because people expected at the time you would listen to an album at a stretch. So you wanted a song to stand out, so you release it. So basically, Thriller was released after the album was released, just to remind you people that there's a song called Thriller in the Thriller album, right? Just to show, just to put it out there, just to make it clear. Now, Michael Jackson then waited another 5 years, 5 years to release an album in 1987. It was on the Billboard charts for over 380 weeks in the whole of the 80s. The only people that followed him, only three people that followed him in the 300 range were Hall and Oates, which I think if you guys know white people music a lot, you know that Hall and Oates are like freaking legends. They're
Rock
basically white
band.
people music legend of all time. People are being, very, very serious with the Billboard charts and everything. Secondly was Prince. Prince have over, I think, 320 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. I read it stand corrected, but it's not far from that. There was only one group that had over 300 plus. It was Kool and the Gang. These guys together, none of them released more than 3 albums in the whole 80s. Do you think that's possible to happen now?
Not likely. We're in a rush now.
Exactly. Exactly. That's the point I'm trying to make. Quality over quantity. But you think about it, Burna Boy has to release over 5 albums to remain top tier. Because if he doesn't release an album for 2.5 years, everybody's going to say Burna is done. And I feel like that puts a lot of pressure on artists to replicate or surpass what it is that they have had before. Even Michael Jackson can take 3 years after Off the Wall. Off the Wall is an amazing. In fact, I think Off the Wall is shelved as one of the best because it's an amazing album. There is no miss on Off the Wall. There is no miss. Every single song is a banger, but nobody remembers Off the Wall because of Thriller. And that's
Right.
because Michael Jackson was able to surpass it. He didn't surpass him bad because, I mean, Thriller is nobody's going to surpass that one. But basically, he couldn't surpass it, but he did good enough for Bad to remain a solid album. So I think, with my few words, I feel like we can cut Burna Boy a slack. And I'm only giving him this slack because it's not easy to be in this present age and time and release album upon album upon album upon album without no time
Nice.
to take that creative break. There's no way you're going to make a great album if you don't take a long-term creative break.
Right. You have successfully made this episode a Burner episode, and that's fine. So I'm going to ask you just before we move to the next sample pair, what would make a lyric or a Burner or a Coldplay, Chris Martin? How did Michael Jackson get in the mix in 2020? About 20 years later? What am I saying? 30,
No, more than 20
35 years,
years.
37.
Yeah, 33 years. 33 years later.
Yeah, so quick answer. What could have been? What's your conjecture?
I think you want to make a certain kind of sound that is different from what you have. So you definitely want to go in depth and try to find a sound that would encapsulate whatever it is you're trying to explain. Now, when you think of Dirty Diana and think of Monsters You Made, the main themes are not the same, but the approach is the same, right? Michael Jackson was talking about Dirty Diana that didn't dirty, basically. And he was talking about his strong love for the lady, but anger at the fact that, whatever has happened has happened. I sit there. And also there's like a little bit of talk that like it was actually about Princess Diana, But that's it there. He was just speaking from a point of aggression. Like he was aggressive with his lyrics. And basically the message that was being sent from Burna Boy was also, some sort of aggression. So you probably heard the song and it's like, this might probably be a good way for me to encapsulate my feelings.
I would
And that's why
really like to. I'd really like to know what artists look at, producers, and make them
yeah.
pick certain samples. Bernard does this a lot, so maybe in the future we'll find out. But yeah, it'll be helpful to know, why you picked that. What did you want it to do for you? And
Yeah, I think
maybe
I think
more.
I think the aggression. I'm sorry to cut you, Guega. I think
Yeah,
the aggression all towards the sound, the fact that you are saying things that is coming deep from your heart in a certain way, it passes the strong message, and it works. It works for me. I don't know whether, of course, because I'm sure maybe it was even lyric that said, why don't we follow this flow of this rhythm and flow of Michael Jackson, or whether it was Chris Martin that was like, oh yeah, you guys can do this, or Burna
Yeah.
himself thought about it. But either ways, it was a great job. And if I was going to give it a sample score, I would say a sample score of at least 8.5 out of 10. In fact, you know
Thank
what?
you.
Scratch that. I'll give it 8.7.
Nice. Of course, all conjectures in that part. I'll just quickly jump to the other pair because of time. I'm doing a bridge because Louisa would really be the one to take us to look at the tiny interpolation of Sean Tizzle's Sho Lee by Ruga on 99. So I'll talk about Sean Tizzle a little bit. I think he was the superstar that never was. He was ahead of his time in my observation. Came out 2012, 2013 with the single Sho Lee, produced by D Tunes. It was heavy on radio, heavy on TV. He was like the next guy. Keith Daniel was around at the same time. Of course, many artists, Ricardo Banks, I guess, maybe not Ricardo, but Keys I know was really out around this time. And 2013,
2012.
yes,
Yeah, I think was he around though?
no, I don't
Hmm.
think so. I think
I
more
don't think so.
2015.
Maybe 14, 15. Yeah, more
Yeah,
15. 15 I can 15 I can see for sure.
but Shantizu grew up in Lagos from Ondo State in Ilaje. He graduated from theater arts at University of Ibadan first and the best, and people really wanted to, people associated with him as superstar. Very talented. If you listen to him, he has the hip hop angle, he has the R&B component, he has the Yoruba boy, a fizzy, and all of that. He had the superstar figure, and if he made those songs in this age, forget it. It would be an Ashake or on that level. That's the energy he was with the Shole, Komole, Perfect Gentleman, Loke with nice. Igorombo with Tiwa Savage. He was getting the right features, had a deal with Difference Entertainment, and for some reason something fell apart and he wasn't able to pick it up again. And it was just that was just it. He had a song later with Tory Lanez, Hit and Run. Two albums. The first one titled The Journey, which is a really good album. Features includes the names I mentioned, Ice Prince, Nato C, and it was really, really that guy. Another album would come later, 2023, which is like much later than 2014 when he dropped his debut, which is titled Juice. He had some EPs along the line. And like most artists who had a good time some years ago, coming back is always hard. So in this particular sample, Sole is a song that was sampled. Sole was his first, debut or breakout single. So yeah, it'll be it's understood how a Ruga who is a student of the game through and through would pick this up. So yeah, let's do it in a few minutes, Louisa. What song was Ruga doing? What album? And what's the nature of the interpolation? We know it's tiny, but walk us through.
Yeah, so I think in Ruga's recent album, let me just grab the title real quick. I've already forgotten it. The album is titled, uh, just a moment. Ruga. Yeah, Blown Boy Rue. Yes, in his recent album, actually, how I even discovered this is that I was just checking out like all the songs that he had and listening to them and observing what they were like. And I think I also talked about another small installation that we did in a different song as well. And when I got to 99, just hearing the song, it was, slow pace and everything. So I wasn't expecting that he would actually interpolate in such a way. So it's around towards the chorus side. When he's singing the chorus in the background, you'll be hearing Ruga will be chanting Shole in the same way that Shole was chanted in the original song. So it's very interesting that he chose this song because I mean, Ruga, he's an interesting artist in general, but I really wasn't expecting him to, gain some form of inspiration or decide to incorporate just a piece of this song into his album. So the title of the Ruga song is 99, and he interpolated the song Sho Lee, which is a song from 2013. So that's like almost 12 years apart. And also to just add on to what you said, the album that he released surely, and there's so many other hit songs that came out of that album, and I feel like there was so much potential that could have been explored. I'm not sure why he took a break, or maybe why the rundown went, because I don't think I really followed his music after the album was released. But I feel like there was so much potential, and hopefully there will be a come up or like a revival. Maybe if he features more artists, or he's featured on new artist songs, then maybe we'll remember. Let me not say remember that he exists, because he is there, but then people are just not paying attention. But maybe he will get more of the attention that he deserves, or the attention that he was supposed to get in the past. But yeah, that was just basically the small interpolation that Ruga did. Ruga is quite fond of this, interpolating and making you not notice unless you really listen to the music. So that's 99 by Ruga, interpolating Surely.
Louisa, did you like know Sean Tizzle a lot before now?
Sean Tizzle, I knew him from my high school days, from obviously the popping songs that I heard, because back then I was a mainstream person. So if your song is not in the mainstream, I
Yeah.
don't know you. I don't even want to listen to you or listen to anything, because at that time I think Afrobeats was still coming up. I knew that I liked a certain type of song, but I didn't know the name of the genre. So for me to actually go and start actively looking for music, it was very hard. Or for me to actually start scouting for artists, it was hard. Or to get information, apart from mainstream, it was hard, because I didn't even know what key term to search to find, popping and upcoming artists. Because some of the artists that were presented to us on radio, they were not as good. So I was skeptical about my love for Nigerian music, because I knew I loved it, but I didn't know what to call the music that I loved. But I did know Sean Tizzle before now, obviously. His song with Tiwa Savage, Sho Lee, which was so popular in my high school. And I really took a strong liking to the song, because the way he played with his melodies and the beat as well, which was produced by T Tunes, who has a lot of other hit records as well. And yeah, I did know him. So yeah, he
Yeah,
was
solid.
or is a great artist.
Perf- Perfect Gentleman is a wedding song. Was for
Oh,
for some
bruh,
time.
bruh,
It's like Sean
bruh.
Tizzle. It's like Nyanya's Majesty. It was one of those songs that they usually use for wedding announcements or recaps and stuff. And
It wasn't in Yaya. I think that should be Peruzzi, Royal
Peruzzi, I'm so
Majesty.
sorry. Yeah, Peruzzi.
Yeah, but
Nelson,
I wanted to say,
take it away.
I wanted to say something quickly. Oh my! When you see Perfect Gentleman, I don't know what he was eating when he did that song, man. But bro, Perfect Gentleman is the. I don't know whether it's like a description for. I mean, it's like the Oruka of that generation, right? Of course, Royal Majesty is still gonna be that song for a few Nigerians to remember too and say, oh yeah, that's like a timestamp. But you see, Perfect Gentleman, beautiful song, beautiful song. If I can sing song, I will sing that song for married people in their weddings. Just to gain money, because trust me, that song is beautiful. And I think Sean Tizo, I know he's been quite quiet. He's been very quiet lately. I know he hasn't done a lot of stuff. But it would be nice to see that kind of person performing. And also one thing I wanted to bring back, just to say this, I think it's high time we start doing shows in Nigeria yearly that we can get to listen to the old guys do their music stuff again. Even if it is once or twice. I know maybe Nigeria might not be the best place to take a tour, especially if you are not the popping artist at the moment because of turnouts here and there. But I think it's about time for us to bring people like, let's see these guys, let's see this artist. Like for example, Ruga is doing a show and then he does the song and he does the show thing and then brings out Sean Tizu to just do one. 3 minutes, just give everybody a Sho Lee vibe, sings Perfect Gentleman, and go, because I see this all the time. This other artists in every part of the world, they always try to give some of the old guys, and it's not every year to be the same person. I remember one time, I don't know whether you guys know about this performance that had Uncle Charlie from Gap Band. Um, uh, this song that has that Kanye West did one time. I just can't remember her name. Bound Part Two of Kanye West album. He did a performance and brought up Uncle Charlie from Gap Band to do the bridge and the chorus of Bound, and it was huge. And people, because of that, Gap Band could go on a tour again. And so sometimes the things that we need. Let's see this Abdul Karim do some stuff. I know some people still use them. For example, I think Baba Frayo has been spoken about so much in Nigerian music that he probably should just even get some cameo appearances now. Adekule Gold, Burna Boy, almost everybody, even Konga has been spoken about, in people's music. You reference them. So I think it's about time for us to do this. Sho Lee, awesome. I think Sho Lee's intro to the song, probably top 20 Afrobeats, I guess. It could be way higher, but I guess top 20 Afrobeats. Do you guys agree to that? The beginning, the intro of Sho Lee, that's beat in
No.
the beginning. You don't
I,
agree?
like I
Top
like I
20
like the beat.
Afrobeat, not Nigerian songs in general, but Afrobeat. I
Yeah,
think you should still be able
yeah.
to make top 20.
I would say top 40 or 50. There's so much.
Aha, okay. All right. I just think there's
But,
this thing about Sho Lee. Sho Lee was that, well, maybe it's just me, thinking about it. But yeah. I
but
wouldn't say of all time, obviously.
yeah, to your point about legacy artists coming out to perform and having an economy, I think it can only get better because hopefully things get generally better with the economy and generally better with the entertainment sector. Then there can be room for these shows. Ruga really doesn't play a lot in Nigeria. He goes to Europe.
Yeah.
That's where lots of our artists
That's
go.
why I
So to
said
fly
it's difficult to even go in Nigeria.
yeah, to fly another artist to Europe. I like when Ashake was in where was it Wembley or O2, he brought out Tunde Bayewu and then he was able to do Sunshine and Ocean Drive. So you want to have an economy where shows are in Lagos, Ibadan, Jos, and then it's easy to bring an OG along. You remember Versus in the US during the pandemic, and they were able to do Versus like the Jada Kiss moment featuring, is it Deep Sets now? What's the name of the group? Detour of whatever.
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
and they were able to do Versus for some time before they stopped. So OG artists
Mhm.
brought the nostalgia back. With TikTok, we are seeing a lot of old music come back. So there is a possibility of that happening. If we can have more shows at home, it's easier for you to bring out Daddy Shoki or Baba Fai or any of those. So yeah, I think that's a wrap from us. What else are we missing? Sorry, before we go on, I forgot to mention Madi Kuti's album. Really good album. Uh, I've forgotten the title, but maybe I'll prepare to talk about it next week. But it's an alternative album. It's very rich in sound. So when we're tired or bored with Afrobeats, that's a go-to album. It wasn't saying a lot, but the musicality, the music components of the album is really rich. Madi Kuti, one of I wanted to say one of one, but he's of the great fella,
Yeah,
and
right.
yeah,
It can't be
solid guy.
literally called one of one anymore.
The
Even
last
though it's
one.
indeed one of one. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Any final comments, Louisa or Nels?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to say I do like your idea of bringing back old school people. I think it would be nice if there's like an event where like there's old versus new school or something. I think different people would turn up, like from different generations. People can bring their parents to come along with them and stuff like that. So it is a great idea to like infuse or to include these people in what we are doing now because some people are getting inspiration from their songs. So for the newer people that are just hearing maybe their songs and samples now, it would be great for them to know that this is where it came from and just to get a taste of the old school sound. So yeah, that's all that I wanted to say. Apart from that, I don't have anything else to add on.
Shout out to Bright Chimes here.
Yeah. Yeah, shout out to Bright Chimis. I was about to actually even talk about some of the other acts that I've seen popping around lately as well. The reason why I spoke about this was seeing, Terry G still looking very good and still holding his own in like the song with Victoria. Like I'm like, yeah, people could. I mean, I'm not going to force people to create whatever it is they don't want to create, but I feel like there's an opening. If we can still have, Nas drop an album and still sound solid, then we can still have mathematics. You can still have, Modo come around and do something with one of the guys that is popping now, whether it is Odumodu or I do. Even though I think that would be like a very very weird match, I would love to hear what that sounds like because I would be like, maybe that would be what we prime Odumodu to like say, okay, I can go back to back with this man or something. That would be very nice to see.
Sauce Kid and Michael Cree.
Yeah, like something like, but I want to see like Mode 9 featuring Odumodu Black or Odumodu Black featuring Mode 9. I want to see how, and then they have to obviously both of them are pure hip hop, so I would expect like the most hip hop beat ever, and I want to see how they would, I have some ideas, A&R things, but they cannot afford me.
You're up to
But yeah,
something. All right, man.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, but it's all good. Like, of course, we'll be back again shortly. Next episode will be the 90th episode. We're 11 episodes away from 100, guys. Congratulations.
yeah.
Congratulations.
Shout out to
Yeah,
God.
congratulations. It's not
All right,
easy. It's
guys.
not easy. I just quickly went through a couple of podcasts that are over 5 years or around the 5 year mark. And I just kind of, I don't know whether this is, obviously there are some that go absolutely nuts in terms of numbers, but the ones that I listen to that are over 100, one of them is currently on 166 episodes and they release twice a week. So they split an episode into two, right? So you could say they're like maybe what? Maybe over 80 episodes in 5 years, and because they do maybe a 1.5 hour and they split into two, 45 minutes, or 50 minutes, 50 minutes, depending on how. And seeing a couple of other people as well, like I've seen amount of episodes put in. I think for quality work, it's really good job from the guys. You guys, you, Louis, guys, big shout out to you guys. Big
Shouts
shout
to
out. Well done,
everybody.
well done.
Shouts
Close to
to the
100.
people who watch and listen. We
Thank you.
appreciate you, of
Oh yeah,
course.
big shout out to everyone who listens, who takes out their time to listen for an hour and hear us talk about music and what we love and discover new sounds as we go. Basically, it's quite nice.
And we'll see you on episode 90. Shout out Louisa. Shout out Nelson. It's peace out. See you guys next
Yeah,
time.
peace out, peace out, peace out,
See
peace out.
you.
Yeah,
Bye.
see you. Bye.